The colony ship Stellar Hope descended through Avalon's atmosphere 300 years ago, carrying 5,000 souls who sought a new beginning. Now, that tiny settlement had grown into a thriving civilization of millions, spreading across the fertile continent they named New Korea. Taehyun Park stood at the massive windows of the command center, watching workers in the fields below. Their ancestors had been agricultural scientists, engineers, and military personnel, a carefully selected group meant to establish Earth's most distant outpost. No one had expected the devastating war that severed communication with their homeworld, leaving them truly alone among the stars. "Commander, the council awaits," said Jae-woo Kim, approaching with a data tablet. Her uniform bore the silver leaf insignia of Avalon's defense forces. Taehyun nodded and followed her through the gleaming hallways of the government complex. The building, like most in the capital city of New Seoul, combined practical efficiency with the cultural aesthetics their ancestors had carried from Earth. 7 people sat around the circular table in the council chamber. Elder Hyunki Lee, with his weathered face and white hair, nodded as Taehyun entered. Beside him sat Minji Kong, head of technology, her keen eyes betraying little emotion. "The long-range probe has returned," Hyunki began without preamble. "We have confirmation of an alien vessel in our outer system, performing survey operations." The room fell silent. Though they had long theorized that other intelligent species existed, Avalon had never encountered any until now. "Show us," Taehyun said. Minji activated the room's holographic projector. A sleek vessel, unlike any human design, appeared before them. It had a curved hull with strange protrusions that glowed with blue energy. "It appears to be a commercial vessel, not military," Minji explained. "Our probe observed it for 3 days before returning. The aliens seem unaware they've discovered a human settlement." Counselor Dowan Choi leaned forward. "This changes everything. For centuries, we've believed ourselves alone, perhaps the last humans in existence. Now we must decide how to proceed." "We should make contact," suggested Sun Woo-bae, the youngest council member. "They might have news of Earth. Or they might be hostile," countered Jae Hyun, head of security. "We know nothing about them." Taehyun studied the alien ship. "Either way, our isolation is ending. We must prepare for a wider universe than we've known." Minji cleared her throat. "This seems an appropriate time to share our latest findings from the ruins." She adjusted the hologram, and the alien ship was replaced by images of strange technology recovered from ancient structures discovered in Avalon's southern hemisphere. For generations, Avalon's scientists had studied these artifacts, slowly unlocking their secrets. "We've successfully reverse-engineered the shield technology," Minji explained. "And the drive system principles are now clear. If our calculations are correct, our ships will be capable of jumps far beyond what Earth's technology allowed." "You're suggesting we accelerate the fleet program," Taehyun said, understanding immediately. Minji nodded. "We have advantages our ancestors couldn't have imagined. The ruins have given us insight into technologies Earth never discovered." Elder Hyunki sighed heavily. "For 3 centuries, we've focused on survival, then prosperity. We've built a world our ancestors would be proud of. Now we must decide if we reveal ourselves, and on what terms." The debate lasted hours. Some argued for caution, others for immediate contact. As darkness fell over New Seoul, they reached a consensus. "We will observe first," Taehyun summarized. "Learn about these aliens and the wider galaxy before making ourselves known. Meanwhile, we accelerate our fleet construction and prepare for all possibilities." Later that night, Taehyun walked through the memorial gardens where names of the original colonists were inscribed in stone. He stopped before the name Park Jin-woo, his own ancestor, the Stellar Hope's captain. "We made it," he whispered. "We not only survived, we thrived. And now we face a new frontier." Above him, stars filled the night sky, countless points of light, any of which might hold other civilizations. For centuries, Avalon had developed in isolation, forging its own path without Earth's guidance or interference. They had become something unique, neither fully of Earth nor entirely separate from their origins. As Taehyun gazed upward, a shooting star streaked across the heavens. The ancient human superstition called for a wish, but he made none. Instead, he felt a surge of determination. Whatever waited among those stars, friendly aliens, hostile powers, or even other human colonies, Avalon would meet it from a position of strength. The age of isolation was ending. The age of emergence had begun. The alien ship entered Avalon's atmosphere exactly 1 month after its first detection. 5 Avalon defense vessels escorted it to the landing pad at New Seoul Spaceport. The city had prepared for weeks, with citizens both excited and fearful of this historic meeting. Taehyun Park stood at the front of the welcoming committee, Jae-woo Kim at his side. Both wore formal uniforms that displayed Avalon's symbol, a stylized tree with roots reaching into a planet. Nervous? Jae-woo whispered. Curious, Taehyun replied. After 3 centuries of isolation, we finally learn what became of the rest of humanity. The alien vessel settled on the landing pad with barely a sound. Its hull shimmered with an iridescent blue material unlike any metal Avalon produced. A seam appeared in its side, widening into a doorway. 3 beings emerged. They walked on 2 legs and had 2 arms, but their blue-tinted skin and large, multifaceted eyes marked them as definitely not human. The tallest wore an elaborate collar that glowed softly. Greetings, the alien said, the words coming from a small device at its throat. I am Ambassador Mach of the Galactic Trade Consortium. We are most surprised to find humans in this sector. Taehyun stepped forward. I am Commander Taehyun Park of Avalon Colony. We welcome you to our world. The aliens followed the Avalonian delegation to the prepared meeting room. Through the windows, crowds of citizens gathered, straining to catch a glimpse of the visitors. Your presence here is unexpected, Ambassador Mach said after they were seated. Our records show no registered human settlements in this sector. We lost contact with Earth nearly 300 years ago, Taehyun explained. Our colony survived independently. The aliens exchanged looks that suggested surprise. Earth still exists, Mach said. Humans occupy their home system in 2 nearby colony worlds. A wave of emotion passed through the Avalonian officials. Earth had survived. Their ancestral home continued. What of the war? Asked Elder Hyunki. Our last communications mentioned conflict. The Great Solar Conflict ended 2 centuries ago, Mach explained. Earth's space capabilities were severely damaged. They have since rebuilt under protective treaties with elder species. Protective treaties? Jae-woo asked. Ambassador Mach's translator device hummed briefly. Humans are classified as a development level 3 species, with territorial rights limited to approved systems. This is for their protection and the stability of galactic society. I see, Taehyun said carefully. And who determines these classifications? The Council of Elder Species, naturally, Mach said. Those civilizations with at least 10,000 years of interstellar history. The meeting continued for hours. The aliens shared information about the current state of the galaxy, trade routes, political alignments, and technologies. To their credit, the Avalonians revealed very little about their own technological achievements or the ancient ruins that had accelerated their development. After the aliens departed for their ship to rest, their species required less sleep than humans but needed periods of meditative stillness. The Avalonian Council gathered in emergency session. They view humans as children, Dawen Choi said bitterly. These protective treaties are nothing but chains. Minji Kong activated a holographic display showing data copied from the aliens' devices. Their security systems were surprisingly easy to bypass. Look at these resource allocation charts. The display showed how resources from countless worlds flowed toward the territories of elder species, while younger civilizations received minimal access. Earth accepted these terms after their defeat, Taehyun noted. They likely had no choice. But we do, Jae Hyun said firmly. We developed independently, with technology they don't expect humans to possess. The council debated their next steps. Should they reveal themselves to Earth? Negotiate their own terms with the consortium? Or take more decisive action? The aliens mentioned the Helios cluster, Sun Woo-Bei pointed out. 5-star systems with minimal permanent population but rich resources. Just beyond our sensor range.
Minji nodded. Our new drive systems could reach it easily.
And the shield technology from the ruins would give us significant advantages.
You're suggesting we claim these systems? Elder Hyunki asked, his voice concerned.
That would surely provoke conflict.
The galaxy expects humans to be weak and compliant, Taehyun said.
They won't expect us to act boldly.
The next morning, Taehyun and Jaiwoo met with Ambassador Mach again.
They carefully concealed their true plans while learning more about galactic politics.
We look forward to establishing diplomatic relations, Taehyun told the aliens.
Avalon wishes to peacefully join the galactic community.
Most excellent, Mach replied. I will report your existence to the consortium. Classification specialists will visit soon to determine your proper status and rights. After the aliens departed, their ship climbing into the sky, Taehyun turned to Jaiwoo. Activate Phase 1, he ordered quietly.
Send our stealth observers to the Helios cluster.
We need complete tactical data before we make our move. And Earth? Jaiwoo asked.
Taehyun gazed at the sky where the alien ship had vanished. We'll contact them when we're ready. When we can approach them not as lost cousins seeking help, but as equals offering alliance. Above them, invisible to the naked eye, Avalon's most advanced ships prepared for their first journey beyond their home system. Captain Sunwoo Bei stood on the bridge of the ANV Dauntless, the flagship of Avalon's newly revealed fleet. Around him, 30 crew members worked at their stations with focused intensity.
None spoke unless necessary.
They all understood the gravity of today's mission.
Final systems check complete, reported First Officer Yoonji Park.
Her voice was steady despite the tension filling the bridge.
All 37 ships report ready status. Sunwoo nodded.
For 3 months, they had prepared for this moment.
Their stealth observers had mapped every detail of the Helios cluster, its defenses, population centers, and strategic points. Now the time for watching was over.
Display fleet positions, he ordered.
The main view screen showed their formation. 7 battle groups spread across Avalon's outer system, each positioned for maximum jump efficiency.
The ships looked unlike any human vessels known to the wider galaxy. Their hulls incorporated technology reverse-engineered from the ancient ruins, giving them capabilities that would shock the elder species. Send final confirmation to command, Sunwoo said. Operation Sudden Dawn commences in 3 minutes. On Avalon, Taehyun and the Council watched from the Strategic Operations Center. Large screens showed each fleet element and their targets across the 5-star systems of the Helios cluster.
The consortium's defense grid remains unaware of our preparations, Minji reported. Their sensor systems aren't designed to detect our drive signatures. All ships acknowledge final orders, Jaiwoo added. Jump calculations verified. Taehyun checked the time. Proceed with the operation.
In space, Captain Sunwoo gave the command they had practiced countless times in simulation but never performed in reality.
All ships, execute synchronized jump. Now. The Avalon fleet vanished from their home system.
Across 5-star systems, 37 ships appeared simultaneously at carefully chosen positions. The Dauntless materialized directly above the main administrative center on Helios Prime.
2 other battle groups targeted defense platforms.
One secured the cluster's main shipping hub. The remainder positioned themselves at jump points and communication relays.
Deploy EMP weapons, Sunwoo ordered calmly.
Pulses of energy surged from the Avalonian ships, temporarily disabling defensive systems without causing permanent damage.
On Helios Prime, the administrative center's shields flickered and died. Ground teams, deploy, Sunwoo commanded. Transport vessels descended toward key facilities. Troops in Avalonian combat armor moved with precision and discipline that would have impressed Earth's finest military academies.
Their orders were clear: secure control with minimal casualties. In the governor's palace on Helios Prime, Regional Administrator Tolmer was enjoying his midday meal when the power failed. Emergency systems activated moments later, but reports were already flooding in.
What do you mean, humans? He demanded of his security chief. There are no human military forces capable of. The doors slid open. 4 humans in sleek combat armor entered, weapons ready but not firing.
Regional Administrator, the squad leader said in perfect consortium standard, "This facility is now under Avalonian control. Your cooperation will ensure the safety of your staff." Similar scenes played out across the cluster.
Within hours, all major installations were secured. Resistance was minimal.
Most security forces, caught completely by surprise and faced with superior technology and tactics, chose to surrender. By the 6th day, the operation was complete. The entire Helios cluster, with its rich resources and strategic position, had been secured by a human colony no one had known existed until months earlier. On the 7th day, Captain Sunwoo met with Administrator Tolmer in what had been his office. "This is impossible," Tolmer said, his blue skin pale with stress.
"Humans are a level 3 species.
You don't have the technology or military capability for such an operation."
Sunwoo smiled slightly. "It seems the galaxy's classification system failed to account for human ingenuity, especially humans who developed outside its constraints."
"The consortium will not accept this," Tolmer warned.
"The elder species will respond with force." "Perhaps," Sunwoo acknowledged.
"But we did not destroy your defenses or harm your people when we could have easily done so. That should give them pause."
On Avalon, Taehyun received the confirmation message, Operation Sudden Dawn complete. All objectives secured. Minimal casualties on either side.
He turned to the council members gathered in the command center.
Phase 1 is complete. Now we move to Phase 2 diplomacy.
Earth will have received word by now, Darwin noted.
Their response will be complicated. And the consortium will be in chaos, added Jai-Hai.
No minor species has ever seized an entire cluster, especially with such efficiency. Taehyun looked at the strategic display, where Avalonian ships now controlled the key points of 5 star systems.
For 3 centuries, we developed in isolation, turning inward to survive. Now we've made our first move outward.
This changes the balance of power in this sector, Elder Hyunki said quietly.
The galaxy will never view humans the same way again. That, said Taehyun, was precisely the point.
Across space, news of the Helios takeover spread rapidly. The galaxy's reaction was universal shock, and for the first time in centuries, fear of what humans might be capable of. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never been so crowded. Representatives from 200 species packed the tiered seating, their voices creating a storm of sound. At the center of it all stood Jai-Hai Yoon, Avalon's chief diplomat. She wore a simple white uniform with Avalon's tree symbol over her heart. Despite being surrounded by aliens of every shape and color, she showed no fear. "Order! Order in the chamber," called the council president, a tall being with gray skin and 4 arms. The noise gradually subsided. "The council recognizes the representative of the Avalon colony," the president announced.
Jai-Hai stepped forward.
"Thank you, esteemed president. I bring greetings from Avalon and our sincere desire for peaceful relations with all species."
A laugh erupted from the Centaurian section. "Peaceful? You seized 5 star systems in less than a week." Jai-Hai nodded calmly.
"The Helios cluster was acquired with minimal loss of life. Not a single permanent resident was harmed.
We now propose fair compensation to affected parties." "This is unprecedented," shouted another representative.
"No level 3 species has ever attempted such expansion."
"That is precisely the issue we must address," Jai-Hai replied.
"The classification system that limits the growth of younger species while benefiting the elder ones." She activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. Images appeared showing resource extraction operations across dozens of worlds.
For too long, the elder species have used protective treaties to control resource distribution while claiming it was for everyone's benefit.
The chamber erupted again, many voices shouting in anger.
"This is outrageous," bellowed the Centaurian representative.
"What is outrageous?" Jai-Hai continued when the noise subsided. is that 90% of resources from supposedly protected areas flow directly to elder species territories.
We have the data to prove it. At the Earth Embassy across the city, Admiral Hanul Song of the Korean Space Authority sat across from Dawan Choi, Avalon's representative. Both men sipped tea in silence for a moment.
Your colony's actions have put Earth in a difficult position, Admiral Song finally said. We have treaties with 17 major powers. Treaties that keep humans confined to 3 systems, Dawan replied. While our resources are harvested for others' benefit.
Admiral Song frowned. Those treaties prevented our extinction after the war.
Earth was vulnerable.
And now? Dawan asked. Are we still so vulnerable that we must accept being treated as children?
The consortium has demanded Earth denounce Avalon's actions, Admiral Song admitted. They threaten sanctions if we acknowledge you as human.
Dawan leaned forward. And if Earth stands with us instead? Avalon now controls resources the consortium desperately wants.
Together, we could renegotiate all those treaties from a position of strength.
Admiral Song stared into his tea. 300 years separate U.S. Are we still the same people? We are human, Dawan said simply.
Different, perhaps, but still connected by blood and history.
Back in the council chamber, Jai-Hai continued her presentation. Avalon does not seek conquest. We seek fair treatment for all species. The current system benefits only those who created it.
What you call fair treatment looks suspiciously like armed takeover, said a representative from one of the elder species. We took action because dialogue was not an option, Jai-Hai replied.
Minor species are not permitted a voice in resource allocation.
She displayed new information charts showing how multiple young species had been kept dependent on elder species technology and resources.
Avalon proposes a new approach.
The Helios cluster will become an open trading hub where all species, regardless of classification, can engage in fair exchange. This caused murmurs throughout the chamber, some angry, some intrigued. Further, Jai-Hai continued, we invite representatives from other developing species to join a new coalition. Together, we can ensure that galactic resources benefit all, not just the oldest civilizations. On Earth, the Global Council debated through the night.
The consortium's ultimatum demanded a response: denounce Avalon or face isolation from galactic trade networks.
These lost colonists have upended a system we've worked within for generations, argued one counselor.
A system that has kept us limited and dependent, countered another.
Perhaps it's time for change. Secretary General Myung Park made the final decision.
Earth will not denounce fellow humans who survived against all odds.
If the consortium wishes to punish us for this stance, they should remember that we now have allies with proven military capabilities.
The next morning, Admiral Song delivered Earth's response to Dawan.
Earth stands with Avalon, he said formally.
We recognize you as our long-lost kindred and support your right to self-determination. Dawan's usually serious face broke into a rare smile.
Then together, we begin a new chapter in human history. In the council chamber, Jai-Hai received word of Earth's decision just as the emergency session concluded. Several representatives from younger species approached her privately. Your colony has shown remarkable courage, said one. Perhaps we too have accepted limitations for too long. As Jai-Hai left the chamber, she knew the true diplomatic battle was just beginning.
But for the first time in centuries, humanity was negotiating from strength rather than weakness.
And all across the galaxy, power began to shift. The morning sun painted the ceremonial plaza of Helios Prime in gold light. Thousands gathered to witness the historic signing of the Avalon Accords. For 3 tense months, negotiations had continued while Avalon maintained firm control of the cluster. Today would mark either a new beginning or confirm an irreversible break with the old order. Elder Hyunki Lee walked slowly toward the signing table. Though nearly 90 years old, he insisted on representing Avalon at this crucial moment. His hands trembled slightly as he took his seat opposite representatives from the Galactic Consortium and Earth. Secretary General Myung Park of Earth looked at Elder Hyunki with undisguised curiosity. Here sat living proof of how differently humans could develop when separated. The people of Avalon retained Korean cultural elements but had evolved their own distinct identity over 3 centuries of isolation. "We gather to formalize a new relationship," announced the moderator, a neutral third-party alien from a species known for fairness. The Avalon Accords recognize the sovereignty of the Avalon colony over the Helios cluster and establish new principles for interspecies cooperation.
Elder Hyunki lifted the ceremonial pen. 300 years ago, our ancestors left Earth seeking a new beginning. Fate gave us more isolation than they planned.
Today, we rejoin the galactic community not as supplicants, but as equals. He signed with a firm stroke.
The Secretary General added her signature next, followed reluctantly by the consortium representative.
The crowd erupted in cheers.
2 weeks later, Dr. Min-Si Khan supervised construction of the new interspecies scientific exchange in the capital city.
Workers from 6 different species labored together, creating a center that would soon host researchers from across the galaxy. "The foundation must be deeper here," he instructed a crew. "The molecular analysis equipment requires perfect stability." A small alien with green scales approached him. "Dr. Han, the Delphian delegation has arrived with the quantum computing cores."
Minseek smiled.
Until recently, such technology had been restricted from minor species like humans. Now, under the Accords, technology exchange flowed more freely.
"Show them to the integration chamber. I'll join shortly." Across the plaza, the first Earth immigrants were arriving. The initial wave consisted of scientists, engineers, and educators, those whose skills complemented Avalon's needs. Later groups would include a broader cross-section of Earth's population. Jae-Wo Kim, now Director of Integration, greeted the newcomers. "Welcome to Helios Prime.
You are the first Earth humans to settle in this cluster, but not the last." A woman stepped forward, eyes wide with wonder.
"It still seems impossible. A lost human colony not only survived but created this."
She gestured at the gleaming city around them.
"Necessity and isolation shaped us," Jae-Wo explained as she led the group toward their quarters.
"Without support from Earth, we had to solve our problems differently."
In orbit above, Taehyun Park met with Admiral Song aboard the Earth vessel KSA Harmony.
The 2 military leaders had developed a respectful relationship over recent months.
"Your defense grid is impressive," Admiral Song noted, studying the display showing Avalonian ships patrolling the cluster.
"Earth's naval architects are eager to study your shield technology. And we're interested in your communication systems," Taehyun replied.
Different paths of development led to different innovations. Admiral Song nodded thoughtfully. 3 centuries ago, we were one people. Now we're distinct cultures with separate histories. Finding a balance won't be simple. But necessary, Taehyun said. The galaxy is watching how we handle this reunion.
Indeed, across known space, other species observed the human situation with intense interest. Several minor species had already approached Avalon about joining the newly formed coalition of emerging powers, an alliance explicitly designed to balance the influence of elder species. On Helios Prime's southern continent, Minji Khan led a delegation of alien scientists through the carefully controlled sections of an ancient ruin site, the first time non-humans had been permitted to study these artifacts. "We believe these structures are at least 50,000 years old," she explained. "The civilization that built them appears to have spanned multiple star systems before disappearing."
"Fascinating," breathed a 6-limbed researcher.
"Similar ruins exist in the Orion sector, but we never connected them to these. Knowledge should benefit all species," Minji said. "That's the principle we're establishing here."
As night fell over the capital, Taehyun and Jae-Hai stood on a balcony overlooking the bustling spaceport. Ships from a dozen worlds moved through the docking patterns, bringing goods, visitors, and new residents to the cluster.
6 months ago, we were completely isolated, Jae-Hai mused.
Now we're at the center of galactic politics. Our ancestors would be proud, Taehyun replied. They came to this world to build something new. In ways they never imagined, that's exactly what we've done. Below them, humans from Earth mingled with Avalonians and various alien species in the plaza markets. Children played together, their laughter a universal language transcending worlds of origin. Businesses negotiated deals. Scientists shared discoveries.
This single cluster of stars had become something rare in the vast galaxy, a place where the old hierarchies no longer dominated, where innovation and cooperation took precedence over tradition and control. And at its heart stood humanity, no longer divided by 3 centuries of separation, but strengthened by the different paths they had traveled among the stars.